This question about the amount of money in an IRA account that comes from Chapter 3, Section 2 just came in from a student. And I wanted to make a short video to walk you through the problem in the case that you have the same problem with this question. Here's how I have broken the problem down, and I would recommend this process every time. I'm going to start by selecting the right formula. Now, how did I select this formula? This is the formula that we can use for compounded interest. I knew that I wanted compounded interest because this example mentions compounding daily, right? So I knew it was compounded interest, and this is the formula that gives us the amount, and the question is saying how much will be in the account at the end of this time frame. So I know that that's wanting me to find the amount. Excellent question regarding a retirement plan. Next, after I selected the formula and wrote the formula out, and I would show this on my homework log every time, I would write which formula I'm using. And then next, I'm going to write in what I know for the principal, the interest amount, and the number of times it's compounded, N. Here's what I can draw. I've tried to color code it, but here's what I'm able to draw from the problem. The principal, the amount of money in the account, is the $20,000. The interest, this was a little bit tricky. It says that the interest earned is 3% compounded daily. Now, if it's 3% daily, what we can do is we could take that 3% and divide it by 365 days to know how much interest we actually accrue each day. So this 3/100 divided by 365 is now going to be our daily interest. Let me specify daily interest rate, right? That 3/100 divided by 365 is our daily interest rate. And then last, we can use that there's 27 years to determine how many times this interest gets compounded. If it's compounded daily for 27 years, then what N is asking us to determine is how many times does that happen. So if it's 27 years, and it happens 365 times a year, we're not going to focus in on the leap year, and bankers would often use a 360, etc. We'll just use 365 days, 365 times that this is compounded over the course of 27 years. Then what would we get for the amount in that account? Well, the last step here is, well, maybe not the last, but the next step here is to fill in each of these amounts of our formula. So in place of P, I'm going to write the 20,000, and be careful that it's 20,000, not 2,000. And then we've got 1 plus $20,000 times 1 plus our interest rate, which comes to, I'm not going to round it, 3/100 divided by 365. I'm going to keep it exact until I get to the very end, raised to the 9,855. Now let me mention one other way you might have done this is that sometimes instead of saying raised to the n power, you'll see an MT, where M is how many times it's compounded in a time period. That'd be 365 if it's daily, and time is the number of years. But notice that that's the same thing we did here to get the N, the number of compoundings. Now, if you plug this in on your calculator, and let me walk you through the steps I would take to do that. First, I would do 3/100 divided by 365. And then whatever result that gives us, I'd add 1 to it. Now I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to use the caret to say raise it to this exponent. So raise to 9855. And by the way, I'm using a Texas Instruments 30X. And this is the list of steps I would use on this 30X. So 0.03 divided by 365 equals, and then plus 1 equals, raised to the 9855 equals, and then I'm going to multiply that times 20,000, and I'm getting 44,000. Well, the calculator says 44956.66328, rounding to the nearest cent. I'd get 44,956.66, and it looks like I did that correctly because that is the answer that's given on our homework system. So I hope that this video helped walk you through the problem, not only this example, but other examples like it, this process of writing the formula, writing out what you are going to plug into the formula, plugging in those values, and then getting the answer and answering the question. Hope that helps, and thanks so much for working on this homework.